interesting one. I'll go watch this one. The rap big three of every decade.
Today we're going to talk about something that's always been debated in the hip-hop world, but never really had a spotlight of its own. We're talking about the big three of rap.
We're talking about practice? We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice, man. Like, what are we talking about here? We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice?
Decade by decade. Now, if this video feels familiar, you're not wrong. I actually made a video on this topic before, but this right here, this...
Okay. The first attempt, I feel that. We will have those as creators and even as artists. You know, when we make that one first attempt and version, you feel like, let me do that shit again. You know, like, that takes me back. If we're gonna talk about rap, that takes me back when I used to see rappers kind of doing the same shit. When J. Cole first attempted his first freestyle for Dead Presidents, and then, you know, I think like a year later or two, he done it again. You know, the first time, it was like when he was first coming up, he was like, cool, you know. Then his boys hyped him up to do it again. After he got signed, he was like, nah, you gotta do it again, son. You came hard, but you ain't come hard enough. You gotta do it again, son. You gotta do it again. So he hopped on the freestyle again, and he done it. And that's where he killed it. So I feel that even artists be going through that shit. Like, you do one video attempt. The amount of times when I was doing skits, I would do one version of that video, then I would do a second one, same idea, but, you know, this time with better acting skills and shit. Yeah, I get that. I feel that. So even with the video reactions, it gets like that. So you feel like, yeah, let me do that shit again. Let me do that reaction again. Yeah, I feel that.
Is the definitive version. More detailed, more accurate, and honestly, just a better take overall. So if you're one of the real ones who saw that original drop, show some love and drop a like to let me know you're still tapped in.
Let me do that shit again.
Before we dive in, please give the video a like and consider subscribing, because I would really appreciate it. With that being said, let's dive back in. Now, when we say big three, we're not talking about no award show, no official Billboard ranking. The big three has always been more of an unspoken thing among fans. It's the three rappers who shaped the sound, the culture, and the conversations of their time. Not just who sold the most or got the most streams, but who really ran the decade. It wasn't until J. Cole dropped that bar on First Person.
But it would be about records, right? How many records niggas were really selling, and, you know, who was making the most noise, who was dropping the most hits? I guess who was dropping the most hits, right? Might have to go for that. Might have to go just based off that. Who was dropping the most hits, who was making the most noise, who had the most hype. You know, you had the most talked about rapper in the early 2000s. I ain't gonna lie though. Definitely Jay-Z. The most talked about, the one who dropping the most records, the most anticipated rapper at the time. It was Jay-Z. We had Lil Wayne. Man, the early 2000s, there was so many, bro. Like, the early 2000s, there was real competition, bro. Man, it wasn't just them two, bro. Come on, bro. It's even disrespectful to even only mention those two, bro. And they're not even my favorite, but I'm just being real from what I remember. There was way too many in the early 2000s, bro. So if we're gonna get into that kind of conversation now, bro, man, in the early 2000s, bro, you had so many rappers that were running the game, bro. Hey, man, this is why Nelly said that he had real competition. His time was the toughest time to be a rapper. His era was the toughest time to be a rapper. The people he had to compete with. Yeah. And he still held his own. So shout out Nelly still. Hey, come on, bro. Like, there was so many, bro. Like, hey, let's just watch this video and see if I really agree with who was the big three. Let's see who he's gonna say. Who was really the big three in the early 2000s? Because there was so many, bro. It's not even fair for me to even mention those two, bro. There's so many names in the early 2000s, G.
Shooter that the idea actually felt solidified. When he said, "We the big three like we started a league," he wasn't lying. Him, Kendrick, and Drake made it
Yeah,
real.
I agree. Definitely the big three of the 10's. I agree. Of the 10's, without a doubt, Drake, Kendrick, and Cole. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So today, we're going back through time and deciding who the true big three were for every era of hip-hop. We're starting with the 2010s, then throwing it all the way back to the 80s, coming up through the 90s, the 2000s, and finishing off with where we stand.
You're taking it back to the 80's. Man, listen, the big two, okay, the big two in the 90's, definitely Pac and Biggie. Who was the third one with them? In the 90's though. Late 90's, we then had, obviously late 90's when Pac was gone, we then had, straight off the gate, we then had DMX. If Pac lived a little longer, just a little longer, just 3 more years, bro, we would have possibly seen a collab with DMX and Pac, bro. That would have been dope. That would have been dope. That would have been dope. Late 90's though, we had DMX after Pac, when Pac passed. Before that, Pac and Biggie had the game on lock. But who was the third one? I know he's gonna say Pac and Biggie in the 90's, bro. Without a doubt. Who was the third one though? Who they gonna mention to be the third one though? That was keeping up with Biggie and Pac. Biggie and Pac were really, really up there, bro. Like, these guys had the 90's on lock like a motherfucker, bro.
And in the 2020s. Let's get into it.
The 80's? Man, I'm gonna have to go with NWA for sure. I mean, the rap group, right? Definitely NWA. Hell nah. What? NWA for sure. And then I'm gonna have to go with LL Cool J, the 80's. Oh man, 80's, bro. So NWA, LL Cool J, who else? I might be way off, but NWA has to be up there, bro. I cannot be off. I cannot be wrong with NWA, bro. And then you had, who else you had, bro? Fucking hell, I can't even think. Like, okay, LL Cool J possibly, and then the third one, I can only think of Big Two, bro, from the 80's and 90's. Big Three, there's so many. Man, you had Fifth, you had M in the Big Three in the early 2000s, man. You had DMX as well. DMX went from the late 90's all the way through the 2000s. You had Ja Rule. Oh my God, in the early 2000s, there's so many, bro. Like, what? It's not even a joke at this point. We had Nas, bro. Nas really had the early 2000s like crazy, bro. Stop playing, bro. Who are you going to pick in the early 2000s, G? Who? There's so many in the early 2000s. I don't know, bro. I don't know. This is gonna be a tough one, bro. I can't wait to see who he's gonna mention in the early 2000s, bro. I might agree to disagree, or just agree or disagree. So let's see.
First up, the 2010s. And this one honestly picks itself. The trio that ran this
is gonna create hella debates, bro, in my opinion, though. Like,
decade was so dominant that even they acknowledged it themselves. Drake, Kendrick Lamar,
that's
and
easy, bro. Early 10s, so easy, bro. So easy. Whenever Drake, Cole, or Kendrick Lamar dropped, or were about to drop, this was like world news. This was world news, bro. This was like world news, bro.
J. Cole. These three didn't just drop.
Not just in the country news. Like, it was like world news, bro. Like, the anticipation, bro, to have these guys dropping was crazy.
Music. They created movements. They shaped how the internet talked, how playlists sounded, and how younger artists structured their whole careers. Drake became the face of mainstream rap, whether he was crooning over a moody beat or delivering Instagram caption-ready bars, he controlled the radio like nobody else. The man was dropping albums, singles, Lucy's, and features like a machine. From Thank Me Later to Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, View.
That was a hype. Oh my God, when these albums dropped, bro, the hype was real, G. There was no bigger hype than the fans, than everyone else, bro, from the world. Like, when these were announced, bro. The hype, bro. The anticipation. Nah, Drake really had it. Like, still does. What?
And Scorpion, every release was a moment. He had the hit-making formula on lock and kept his finger on the culture's pulse the entire decade. Kendrick Lamar, on the other hand, brought depth back to the mainstream. From the raw energy of Section 80 to the storytelling masterpiece that is Good Kid M.A.A.D. City, and then the cultural earthquake that was To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick proved that you could go platinum with a message. He was the voice of protest, of perspective, of poetry, and he rapped it all in flawless delivery and complex structure. Nobody rapped like Kendrick in the 2010s, period. Then you got J. Cole, the silent giant, the underdog that became a generational icon. Cole started out as the guy fighting to get noticed and ended the decade as the people's champ. His come-up was authentic. His albums from 2014 Forest Hills Drive to KOD and Born Center reflected growth and maturity. Cole became a household name without chasing.
And let's not forget that Cole still is a lyricist, bro. Lyrically, Cole was just cold, bro. Like, Cole was really a lyricist, still is, man. He was cold in bars, G.
Radio hits really or gimmicks, just bars, introspection,
deep,
and real-life relatability.
Deep. You have to deep, bro.
The 2010s were their playground. Nobody else even came close. But there were still heavy names doing damage. People like A$AP Rocky, who brought style and fashion to the forefront. Tyler, the Creator, who started off wild and chaotic, but evolved into one of the most unique and artistic minds in rap. Future, who helped define the trap sound and gave us run after run of mixtape classics. Travis Scott built an empire, and Big Sean, Wale, Meek Mill, they all had runs that could have defined a different era, but for the 2010s, the big three is crystal clear. Now, let's rewind way back to where this all began, the 1980s. The 80s were the foundation.
Okay, my guess is gonna be NWA first, for sure. Yeah? I might have to throw Ice-T there, if anything. And we'll go LL Cool J. Who else? I can't think. Big Daddy Kane, maybe? I don't know, but we might have to throw him in there too. So this is just my guess if he's gonna mention Big Three. But NWA for sure, bro, without a doubt, bro. Then Ice Cube went solo. He went solo in the 90s. And Ice Cube was really making some noise, especially when he dropped that Today Was a Good Day. Ooh. Hey man, Ice Cube really had the 90s as well. But if we're gonna mention Ice Cube, he's gonna be down in the 90s with NWA first, and then he did his thing solo as well. Then he had the movies. Yes, I mean in the 80s though, we're still talking about the 80s. Man, I ain't even go that far back, bro. You know what I mean? Like my thing is the 90s up. The 80s though, like I don't even go that far back though. Unless it's R&B, then yeah, I'm more intact with that. But when it comes to hip hop, I can't really think that hard or Fool was really running the 80s.
The streets were the studio, and hip-hop was still proving it deserved a place at the table. But out of all the voices from that era, three names stood tall.
I knew it.
LL Cool J was the first true solo rap superstar. Young, brash, and confident, LL showed that a rapper could be both a sex symbol and a lyrical threat. His debut album, Radio, shifted the game and made rap commercially viable in a way it hadn't been before. He brought charisma to the mic, wore the gold chains with pride, and had longevity that would carry into the next decade. Run MDC were more than a rap group. They were pioneers. They took streetwear to the mainstream,
I forgot
merged
about
rock
them.
and
How did I
rap with their
forget about them?
Aerosmith collaboration, and made hip-hop a global movement. Their stage presence was electric, and their style was raw and aggressive. Run MDC brought a certain toughness and pride to the art form that made them legends in their own right. And then came NWA,
WA.
the group that ripped the veil off what was
Ooh, I had
really
it, I
happening
had
in
it.
the streets of Compton. Their music wasn't just controversial, it was revolutionary. Straight Outta Compton wasn't just an album, it was a wake-up call. Ice Cube's pen, Eazy-E's delivery, Dre's production, it all came together in a way that permanently changed the sound.
Now, if we're gonna talk about the big three within that group, now those were really the big three. Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and Dr. Dre. Those were the big three in that group, bro. For sure, ski. The main characters of NWA were those three: Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, and Ice Cube. Those were the main characters of NWA.
Direction of hip-hop. Without NWA, we wouldn't have had half of the West Coast's influence in the years that followed. There were others, of course: Grandmaster Flash, Rakim, KRS-One, Public Enemy. But when it comes to who carried the 80s into the mainstream and made the biggest cultural dent, LL Cool J, Run MDC, and NWA. That's your big three. Now,
So we had the group. Okay. See, I got it right. I got the big two right, though. I couldn't think of the big three. At least I got the big two right. Hey, this was before they even announced who they would be. Okay, so I got the big three right. So let's guess the 90s. We're going to the 90s now. My guess is this is an easy one. I feel like the 90s is the easiest one. Bro, gonna say the big three, but the big two I can only think of Big Impact. I mean, come on now, Big Impact, bro. Like, what? Is this even a question, bro? Like, come on, bro. We know Big Impact had it. Still listen to Pac till this day. Still listen to Pac till this day.
let's move forward into the 90s, the golden era.
I just can't think of the big three, unless you say Nas, DMX, right? In the late 90s. Jay-Z, maybe. Jay-Z was at more like 2000s. I don't know. Who is the third one? Big Impact? We got the big two. I can't think of the third one, though.
Decade that most hip-hop heads still call the greatest. The big three of the 90s isn't just a list, it's a trinity of legends. Tupac, the Notorious B.I.G.,
Easy.
Nas.
Oh, was it Nas? Did I get that right? Because I did mention Nas. Hey, come on, bro. I don't miss. I can't miss. Hey, man. So far, I'm on point, bro. This is an easy guess. I feel like this is an easy guess, bro. If you're a big fan of hip-hop, bro, come on, bro. These are going to be easy guesses, bro. Come on, G. Nas. And Nas was really young. This guy was a teenager when he came out. Damn. Yeah, okay, Nas is fair. Nas started in 94. Okay, so it's fair. Okay. Yeah. Nas started soon, bro. 96, when I remember his albums. 99. Yeah. Nas. I'm just remembering his albums when he dropped his albums. You know, forgot the years and shit. It even got mentioned in a song by Tupac many times. Tupac came at Nas bare times. So yeah, that's valid. With Nas being the third one. Okay. I always said this before as well. In my previous videos, like Nas was up there with Big Impact. I used to say that quite a lot. So it's so ironic coming across this video now and Nas being mentioned as one of the big three. When I used to say that Nas was up there with Big Impact. That's crazy. What a prediction. What a prediction, though.
Tupac was more than a rapper. He was a revolutionary, a poet, a prophet. He rapped about pain, injustice, love, rage. He gave you the entire human experience in 16 bars. His presence was powerful, his words were sharp, and his influence eternal. Pac became the voice of the voiceless, whether he was dropping emotional tracks like Dear Mama or riding for his people on Changes. Then you have Biggie, Brooklyn's finest, the most effortless flow the game has ever seen. Biggie
Yeah.
could tell a story, paint a picture, and make you laugh in the same verse. Ready to Die is arguably
But fucking no, bro. The more we dive into Biggie's music now, like he's got some crazy diabolical lyrics, bro. I mean, I've recently just been finding out some of Biggie's lyrics that were a bit out of pocket, bro. Sus and out of pocket, bro. Only just recently, I think this was like yesterday, bro. Bro, he said the way he dissed and the way he talked about religion, bro, was so out of pocket, bro. It just made me feel uncomfortable in my soul. I ain't gonna lie, just the way he came for the religion in one of his records, bro. What he said about Mary and Jesus and all of that, bro. Oh, man, that was uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, bro. He was so out of pocket, bro. And then you got the sus lyrics as well. You dive in more and more to Biggie's lyrics, bro. Like Biggie was cool, don't get me wrong, but damn, bro, the more you dive into his lyrics, bro, the more disturbing it gets, bro. Like, no disrespect to Biggie, one of the legends for sure, but damn, like, he had some, man, you will hear some weird, disturbing things, bro. He used to say in his songs, bro.
one of the greatest debut albums in hip-hop history, and Life After Death just cemented what he already proved. His charisma, wordplay, and swagger were unmatched. Biggie made rapping sound easy, and it never is. Nas was the technician, the lyricist, the chosen one.
That's funny, man. Said the technician, bro. Why you gonna be the technician, bro? What? Technician is crazy, especially now looking at this pic as well with the jacket on. Bro really look like a technician here too.
Just 20 years old, he dropped Illmatic, and the rap game was never the same. Every line,
more like 18, brother. More like 18. No, 18 is when he got signed. Then he took a year to drop it. Okay, yeah, it might have just been 20. Yeah, you're right. Because that's when he got signed. He got signed actually at 17, to be fair. He got signed young. He took his time to drop the first album, Illmatic. He took a cool year because he wanted to make sure he dropped a good project. So I feel it. I watched this documentary, man. I watched a lot of these rappers' documentaries, bro. I used to be hooked on it.
Every beat choice, every flow pattern, it was surgical. Nas made you listen. He brought New York back to its lyrical roots and inspired an entire generation of MCs to take the pen seriously. Honorable mentions? Absolutely. DMX came in late in the decade and had the game in a chokehold. Ice Cube transitioned from NWA into solo greatness with politically charged, street-hardened albums. And Jay-Z, who technically started in '96, was already laying the foundation for what would become one of the greatest careers in music history. The 90s belonged to Pac, Biggie, and Nas. And even though the decade ended with two of them gone, their influence never left. Now we enter the wild.
Okay, early 2000s. My guess for this one, this is gonna be a crazy one. Early 2000s was definitely a crazy, most competitive era for rap music. Man, my guess. I don't really listen to this man, but I must admit that I think Ja Rule. But Ja Rule was more through features, so it's kind of hard to tell. But Ja Rule really had it though. Because they even some people were even saying that Drake is like how Ja Rule was back in the day. So I'm guessing Ja Rule, Nas, Jay-Z. I want to say 50. 50 really had it, and so did Eminem. But there was others. Man, I might be off. I might be off on this one. I'm probably gonna get it wrong. Especially if I said Nas. Nas had it. No, wait. Nas was the 90s. But also, Nas also did his thing in the early 2000s. But then Jay-Z. It was really Jay-Z though. And then Ja Rule, DMX, early 2000s. Were they the big three though? I think I'm off. I'm so off. Oh, this is a tough one. My Lil Wayne. But Lil Wayne was like more late 10s, late 2000, late early 2000s. Lil Wayne? Nah, Lil Wayne didn't come until like Lil Wayne didn't really become big until 2008. So nah, not Lil Wayne, not yet. Lil Wayne came in late 2000, early 2000s, late early 2000s. Man, this is a tough one, bro. I can't think, but let's go. Cause there's so many in the early 2000s, bro. It's hard to think. Eminem, right? Eminem had to be Eminem, bro. There's no way. Eminem, Jay-Z, Eminem, and Ja Rule or DMX. One of these, bro. It has to be one of these. Let's go. Let's fucking go. It has to be one of these.
The 2000s. This was a decade so stacked, we gotta split it in half.
Yeah.
The early 2000s and the late 2000s.
That's what I said. There was so many, bro. Like, how you gonna do this in the early 2000s? It's not even fair for me to even say only those names. I mentioned 4, and still, I feel like I'm way off.
Thousands each.
50 Cent as well. Like, bro, come on, bro. Can't. What 50, bro? What G Unit? Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Nelly, what? Nah, bro. It's not even fair, bro. I don't know, bro.
Had their own big three. Early 2000s, you had Eminem, Jay-Z, and Outkast.
Oh, how did I forget Outkast? I guess I didn't really listen to Outkast like that. Not to be selfish, but Outkast really, they was making a lot of noise. But Outkast, I didn't expect him. Outkast, really?
Eminem came in like a nuclear bomb. His shock value, his pen game, his delivery, nobody saw him coming. The Marshall Mathers LP, the Eminem Show, and even 8 Mile made him more than just a rapper. He was a pop culture icon. He was controversial, sure, but there's no denying the skill level and the impact. Jay-Z was already buzzing in the late 90s, but the 2000s were where he became a mogul. Blueprint 1 and 2, Black Album, and a retirement that didn't even last long. He made being a businessman and a rapper look easy. His influence stretched from the booth to the boardroom. Outkast were aliens. They weren't just ahead of...
Outkast, bro. Really? Okay, man. No disrespect. Outkast... Fair enough. I just didn't listen much. I didn't listen to Outkast much. I guess that's why I'm just a bit surprised, but fair enough.
Their time, they were on another planet. Andre 3000 and Big Boy pushed
I'm gonna have to disagree with this one, bro. Not Outkast, bro. There's way bigger names than Outkast in the early 2000s, bro. Yeah, this is not right, bro. I'm sorry to say. No disrespect to Outkast, but nah, bro. This is way off, bro.
Boundaries of what rap could be. Stankonia and Speakerboxxx Love Below showed just how experimental and creative you could get while still going multi-platinum. Then in the late 2000s,
Wait. I got this one. This is easy. Lil Wayne, Kanye. Ooh, Kanye for sure. What? Late 2000s, Lil Wayne, Kanye, and I don't know. Who else? Definitely, it has to be Lil Wayne and Kanye, bro. Lil Wayne and Kanye has to be these two, bro. Right? Has to be, bro. Who's the third one? Can't think of the third one. Let's go. Just need a reminder now.
Sound started shifting, and 3 new giants stepped in. Lil Wayne went from promising talent to absolute dominance. His mixtape run, his features, and the Carter 3 made him a living legend. Every rapper in the 2010s credits Lil Wayne in some way. Kanye West was a creative force like no other.
Bro, who was the third one? I'm still thinking hard about the third one. Could it be? Can't think of the third one.
Late Registration, 808's and Heartbreak. Every album was a new sound, a new era, a new influence. Kanye made fashion, emotion, and production part of the rap narrative. And then there was 50 Cent.
Oh, 50. But wait, 50 was the early 2000s, bro. Late 10's. Yo, what's good? Chief Official, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing alright, man. I'm doing alright. Hope you're doing good, man. Welcome, bro. Welcome to the live. So, obviously, in case you don't know what we're doing, just finishing reacting to this video called The Rap Big Three of Every Decade. So now we are the late early 2000s. Man, 50 Cent was the big three in the late. I think 50 Cent was more in the early 2000s though. And if anything, this is wrong. This is wrong. I said that I would have corrected this if it was wrong. And I feel like they said Outkast in the early 2000s, so it should have been 50. It should have been 50, bro. Not Outkast, bro. It should have been 50 in the early 2000s, not late 2000s. Late 2000s, yes. Kanye, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, more like early 2000s though. Late 2000s, 50 Cent. Nah. And 50 Cent, it's my favorite rapper. And I still disagree that he was late 2000s. 50 Cent, he was more like early 2000s. Might not be your type shit. Is it cool if I send the release track if you got time? Yeah, go on. I'm just gonna finish reacting to this and then I'll react to your song, bro. 50 Cent, bro. Yeah, nah, this is wrong. This is wrong. I mean, hey, each to his own, bro. Everyone got their own opinion, but I'll argue with anyone that 50 Cent was early 2000s, late 2000s. Nah.
When Get Rich or Trying dropped, the game stopped.
Bro, this was early 2000s. What are we talking about? This was not late 2000s, bro. Get Rich or Die Trying was so early 2000s. What?
The gangster image, the hit records, the street story, and the backing of Eminem and Dre. For a few years, nobody was bigger.
Okay.
The 2000s had so many names we gotta shout out. Ludacris with the animated.
Yeah, even Ludacris. Oh my God, I forgot about Ludacris. No disrespect to the GOAT. Hey. Nah, bro, listen, this is wrong. This is wrong. This list is wrong. And 50 Cent cold. But that's what I'm saying. They trying to say the 50 Cent was the big three of late 2000s. No, it was the big three in the early 2000s. But then you also had Ludacris, so there's a competition right there. You had T.I. Bro, how did this guy not mention T.I., bro? Do you know how disrespectful that is to not mention T.I.? If anything, T.I. was like late 2000s. Early 2000s? Bro, how you not gonna mention T.I., bro? This guy, bro, he didn't do his list properly. He started off good. Yeah. From the 80s to 90s, he started off good. When he got to the early 2000s, he messed up with the Outkast, bro. Bro said the Outkast was the big three of the early 2000s. Outkast, bro? Nah. There was way better rappers than Outkast. Nah, definitely early 2000s. Who? T.I. or 50? T.I. was early 2000s though, right? 50 Cent early 2000s. Ludacris early 2000s. Now T.I., bro, T.I. was still in his prime in the late. Early. Yeah. I agree. But let's not forget that Ti was very young. He was still very young in the late 2000s. So I'm gonna have to put Ti there, bro. And then Ludacris was so early 2000s. What we talking about? Yeah, man. Bro didn't even mention Ti not one time. That is so out of pocket. But there's so many, bro. I feel like I'm still kind of disrespecting the early 2000s rappers. I'm disrespecting them because it's so many out there, bro. There's so many, bro.
Flows and huge hits.
Wait, bro didn't even mention no one time he mentioned DMX. And DMX really had the early 2000s on lock like crazy.
T.I., who crowned himself King of the South.
Thank you. I forgot about Missy Elliott. See, I feel like I'm disrespecting these guys that deserve more credit. I mean, she's a female rapper, but it's cool. You know, female or male, don't matter. But still. See, you mentioned T.I., thank you.
Missy Elliott, who pushed visuals and sound to the next level. And of course, The Game, Jeezy, and others who kept regional scenes alive.
Bro, come on, bro. We're not gonna do Lil Bow Wow like that. I know Lil Bow Wow was only a kid. But Lil Bow Wow had the early 2000s. It was up there, bro. We're not gonna do Lil Bow Wow like that, bro. Come on, bro. We're not gonna mention Lil Bow Wow in the early 2000s, though.
And poppin'. Now we land in the present day, the 2020s.
This is easy, bro. Obviously, you already said in the beginning in the intro, Drake, Cole, and Kendrick. Like this is. I mean, we're here now. We're here, bro. We're here. Hello, I'm right here. 20s. It's like he's right in front of us. Like it's not like it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's now. Like this is happening now. Okay, like we right here.
This one's hard to lock in because we're still in it. The big three of this decade hasn't really settled yet. Some fans believe we had it early on with Juice WRLD, XXX Temptation, and Pop Smoke.
That's so off. Sorry, not disrespect to those, but that is way off.
Leading the charge for a new generation. But sadly, they all passed away far too soon. Their impact was real, but the time wasn't enough to shape the full decade. Others believe that the next big three are spiritual successors of the 2010s big three. Baby Came coming from Kendrick's camp. J.I.
But did we talk about the early 10s, bro? Bro only talked about the late early 2000s. He skipped the 10s. Where's the 10s? He went straight from the late early 2000s to the 20s.
D, mentored by Cole, and either Travis Scott or 21 Savage standing close to Drake's shadow. It's a cool theory, and there's some truth to it, but there's a problem. Baby Kame's talent is there.
Everything you say is just pure facts. I appreciate you, man. I try, bro. I mean, shit. Bro, I used to study these hip-hop shit, bro. Like, I used to just sit down and watch documentaries growing up. I used to just watch documentaries of all these rappers for fun. How these rappers came up in the game and shit. Like, bro, I used to just watch this shit for fun, bro. This is crazy. How he takes me back to when I was like a teenager, bro, just watching those documentaries, looking up documentaries on YouTube and shit of all these rappers, how they came up and all that stuff, bro. That shit was fun. I kind of want to do it again now that I'm streaming. That would be crazy. But if I do it, it's going to be so long. I don't even know how I'm going to split like a whole documentary into like, you know, into a video that I can then upload on YouTube. Because it's like a documentary, watch documentary, they're like an hour. What should I do? What, part 1, 2, 3? Bro, it's so many I can go back to and watch. Like, bro, you know what messes me up? Icons can end up like Diddy. Oh, that's deep. Yeah, that's deep. Hey, what you said right there is so deep, bro. Icons, yeah. I thought he was a nice guy till I heard, till I heard the shit he did. Oh my god, that shit hit hard. That shit hit hard. Oh my days, what you just said just hit hard, bro. That's crazy deep. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yeah, bro, and it's. Can you imagine one of the rappers? Can you imagine you finding out that one of the rappers you really liked is homosexual? Like stuff like that, bro. Like can really mess you up, like in a way. you know, I heard streamers, I don't even want to mention names yet, but I heard like streamers, yeah, saying that they've walked into a club and they've seen a certain someone, I'm not gonna say who, making out with a man. Yeah, and this person has not been exposed yet, but he said that he's seen it. Like, he's seen it. Like, this one guy I watch on YouTube, right? It's one of my favorite streamers. And he said he walked into a club and he said this story many times. He never forget. He saw this guy making out with a man. But no, he has not been exposed. You would never even think or imagine. You'd think I'm trolling if I told you who it is. Yeah? And yeah, bro, it's deceiving. It's deceiving. It's disappointing. And there's rumors that Jay-Z could be up there as well, on some weird, wired shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Jay-Z, that's what they're saying. I mean, I refuse to believe, but that's what they're saying. That Jay-Z might be involved with some fuckery shit. You know, that's what they're trying to say. I hope it's not true, but you know, and Jay-Z is one of them ones that you grew up on. You know, Jay-Z really inspired, and he was part of the Big Three. To think that he was part of the Big Three, you know, like, I don't wanna ever even think that Nas would be on some weird shit. Definitely not Nas, bro. Like, Nas is he minds his business way too much. I feel like Nas is like J. Cole. They mind their own business, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Nas and J. Cole are kind of like similar when it comes to just doing their own thing. So I don't even think Nas and J. Cole are caught up in that kind of mix of fuckery shit. Fuck that, like, they're not even on that. Like, they just minding their own business, living their lives. I don't even think they're involved in that. So it would be very deceiving, bro. It would be heartbreaking. Imagine if you found out. I don't even want to think. The thought of it is not even right. It don't even feel right. Like, imagine you find out Nas on some weird shit. Like, no Nas though. Nas definitely. You're not gonna catch Nas slacking. You're not gonna catch Nas slacking. Nas definitely not on any of that shit. Nas is really just doing his own thing. It's cool. It's cool. But it's like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using that as an example. That's like you find out, like, you know, like Nas on some weird shit as well. Like, you know what I mean? You're definitely not gonna catch the new Big Three on some weird shit like Drake, you know, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. They're definitely not on that. You know what I'm saying? It's more like the OGs, some of the OGs that go caught now, like Diddy, you know. So yeah. So it will be heartbreaking. It will be heartbreaking. I definitely grew up on Jay-Z and 50 Cent. Oh, you did? Who was your favorite, Jay-Z or 50, bro? My favorite was definitely 50, bro. I still listen to 50 till this day when I'm at the gym.
No doubt, but his output has been inconsistent. JID is slept on, even though he raps.
Yo, what's good? Vicins? How you doing, my bro?
Better than half the game. Travis is divisive now. 21 is evolving, but still not fully embraced in that legend tier. So really, it's still up in the air, and that's where you come in. Drop your big three of the 2020 so far in the comments. And while you're at it,
I already said my big 2020. I feel like my big three in the 2020 are the ones from the early 10's. They still running it. J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. From the early 10's to now, it's, to me, they still the big three, bro. For me, they still the big three. So if I'm gonna drop in the comments who I think it is now, it's them. Don't get me wrong, Travis Scott could be up there as well. But nah, bro. Like, listen, I like Travis Scott. Don't get me wrong, Travis Scott is cool, you know. And there's other rappers you could mention though, right? But when we talk about bars, like, I'm talking about real bars, just spitting, bro. Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole, they the only three rappers that actually still spit. That I feel like they kind of keep hip hop alive in a way, because they actually rap. They're not like these new rappers. They use auto-tune, they mumble, you know. Because you could have mentioned Migos, but Migos is cool. But you know, we're talking about rappers. They actually rap. I'm talking about they keep hip hop alive. The originality of hip hop alive. You know how rap started with the play word, with lyrics, with painting the picture with your songs, you know, telling a story, and you know what I'm saying, like actually saying words and talk to the audience. You actually telling a story and actually say something in your songs, not just going off the beat and the flow. You know what I'm saying? You're actually you talking through your songs. I feel like Drake, Kendrick, and Cole, they still do that. They keep hip hop alive by doing that. And you might say that Drake don't do it. Drake does. When he raps, because this is the thing you gotta understand, loud. When Drake really wants to rap, he rap. He rap. And I could have said Meek Mill, because Meek Mill rap. Meek Mill rap. I'm talking about Meek Mill is more like about the streets and shit, like how he grew up, the struggle, which I respect it. You know, I respect and I love that. So I could have thrown Meek Mill in there as well. Meek Mill is up there as well. I could have thrown Meek Mill in there. That's why I fuck with Meek Mill. Meek Mill's one of them. But the big three though, man, I gotta go with Drake, Kendrick, and Cole, because they still rap. They still keep hip hop alive in a way. You know, when you listen to my shit, don't think it'll be your kind of vibe. It's like melodic singing rap. I don't know how I make that shit when I go up on 50 artists. Your shit might be like Tory Lanez type shit. What rap that like kind of, cause Tory Lanez, like, he likes to get creative like that, and I like Tory Lanez. Your shit might, it sounds like, from what I'm reading, it sounds like your shit might be like kind of like Tory Lanez, and Tory Lanez is one of my favorite artists. So yeah, it might be like that. Let's listen to your shit now, bro, because I'm done watching this video. It was a cool video though. I really enjoyed watching this one. I had my disagreements. Mine's like deep, meaningful shit. I tell a story about myself. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. That doesn't sound too bad, my brother. That doesn't sound too bad at all. You still gotta finish up the rest. Let's listen to it.